My grandmother was the greatest influence in my life. She was a shelter and a person who shared with me. Also my mother, my siblings, and my children. My grandmother was not at our home often while I was growing up. When she was there, she would tell us native legends and stories from her lifetime. She was a tiny woman with waist-length hair that she kept in a braid that was wound up at the back of her head. My mother was very busy as there were 11 of us children, 6 boys and 5 girls. We had a 3-bedroom home with 1 room for the boys and 1 room for the girls. We lived out to land except for staples like bread, flour, and lard. We had a big garden and lived on deer meat, fish, and wild berries. My mother also made us our dresses. I was born, lived, and grew up in white society with a strong influence of the Catholic Church. For my remaining days, I will live on my reservation, which is the Fond du Lac Reservation in the Sawyer District. I live in elder housing there. I have 7 children, 3 girls and 4 boys, and 14 grandchildren, 6 great-grandchildren. They all have grown up with a Native influence in their lives. Some have Native names, but some don't. My name is Kiweden Anang Kwe, which means North Star Woman, given to me by a medicine man from Red Lake. I am a Native artist who makes traditional Ojibwe faceless dolls made from buckskin, stuffed with buffalo hair, dressed in deer hide, and the hair is horsehair. My dolls are in multiple museums and collections and the Smithsonian National Museum of the American Indian in Washington, D.C. I participate in powwows, the language, ricing, gathering syrup, netting, creating Native art, and am among Natives daily. Netting is when you go out in a canoe with a 300-foot net and you throw the net in the water and pick it up for next morning for walleye fish. I have set the net, and when you are out there in the early morning pulling the net, I am closer to Manidu, who is the great being in the 4 directions. It is so spiritual. You are at one with our beautiful living space that our ancient ones took care to keep for us. I am thankful daily as I offer my asema, or tobacco. I understand how I and all of us here have a responsibility to the next 7 generations that will come behind us. I am just a pitiful Shinab getting through life in the best way I know how. I value my children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, my brothers and sisters, and my many relatives, and life on the res.